Hello, everybody, and we're back. Welcome to another episode of the Every Story Counts podcast. Today, we have with us George Sugden. George has had some really hard times when he was younger, with childhood trauma, severe bullying, to deal with his autism. He's been addicted to drugs. He's been homeless. He's had all that recovery, and now he's a Thai boxer, hoping to be in Thailand fighting professionally. And he actually said to me he wants to either be the Floyd Mayweather or John Jones as well. So he's got his eyes on boxing, Thai boxing, and MMA. Stay tuned and enjoy. So, George, tell us what your childhood was like growing up.
Quite rough, actually, because, well, basically, when I was 3 years old, my mum and dad split up. I was born in West Yorkshire as well.
What was that like, West Yorkshire?
Do you know Halifax?
Yes.
Yeah, it's nice, actually, but there's some rough parts in it as well. Like,
So were you in the rough part?
yeah, I was in, like, the rough part because I got brought up on a council estate and everything that. But anyways, right, parents split when I was 3. Bearing in mind, my dad was always there for me and everything as well. But
Yeah.
my mum had full custody over me and my brothers and stuff. But I remember one time when I was a little kid, we were in Burger King and obviously we were 3 little kids, like,
Yeah.
you know, just like didn't know what we were doing and stuff like that. She ended up abusing us and she got arrested for it as well. So we got put under child protection and everything as well. So yeah, that was quite bad as well.
So how tough was that then? You say of your parents splitting up.
Yeah.
How much did that affect you at that
Yeah,
young
really bad
age?
though, especially like I didn't know who my real mum and dad was when I was growing up because I got put in foster care as well after that. And I was in there till about 6-year-old and then I eventually moved back in my mum because, like I said to you, she had full custody over me and my brothers and stuff. But
Did you have a bit of resentment towards your mum, would you say?
yeah, but that didn't. But not until I was old because when I was young and that, I like loved her to bits and that because obviously it's your mum though, isn't it?
You didn't know anything that was really going on.
Especially like with me being autistic as well and everything like that as well. I could only see my dad like once a week, which was every Sunday, every 2 weeks as well. So
And you had a good relationship with him as well.
yeah, really good relationship with him. Yeah,
So not seeing him all the time had a massive effect on you.
yeah, really bad because I was like looking forward to seeing him every week and stuff, and it means a lot to me. And also another person that means a lot to me as well is my stepmom because when I moved back in my mum when I was about 6 years old, a year after that, my stepmom and dad got together, and that woman means a lot to me because she has done everything for me. Like, she wants best for me all the time, but unlike what my so-called mother did, she never wanted that for me.
So a lot of times have you classed that woman at times she's been like your mum? Have you still got a really good relationship with her now then? Your stepmom?
Yeah, absolutely, even to this day.
What's your relationship with your mum now?
Nothing.
You don't, no contact at all?
No contact, no nothing.
How does that feel for you? Is that something you've sort of accepted in your head that you're like, listen, this is better for me?
Yeah.
Or is it a case of, you know, you have like a bit of hatred for her, thinking why is she not there and things like that?
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, like while I was growing up as well, like while I went through that abuse as well, like even when I came back to live with my mum, because she was like really abusive and everyone on the council estate knew what she was like, so that made me and my brothers a target for like bullying and stuff, and it was just horrible though, really. Like,
you talk about abuse. What sort of abuse we're talking?
Like verbal abuse, and she used to like hit me and stuff as well. Really? Like, she used to get a flip flop and whack me with it and everything. And like
people on the estate seen that as well.
They didn't see it.
Well, they knew it was happening.
Yeah, well, I don't think they knew it was happening, but because my mum was abusive, like they wanted to abuse her because she was really abusive. But I didn't think that they knew that she was abusive towards us all and everything.
That makes sense.
But when I was on that estate, when I was a target for bullying, like I had people like throwing sausages at me and like getting like pot water poured all over me and everything. It was just really bad though.
How old were you even at that time?
About 6 until
6.
Yeah, and like throughout the years as well. I mean, to be honest with you though, I had good times as a kid and everything though, like, but I also went through the worst times as well, you know what I mean?
How old was your brother? How old is your brother? Is he?
I've got 2 brothers. I've got an older brother who's 2 years older than me, and I've also got a twin brother, an identical twin brother as well.
So were they both going through the same as you was going? All 3? Did it, as strange as it sounds, did it feel a bit easier to know that all 3 of you were really going through this together?
Yeah.
Instead of if this had just been talking, you're just getting targeted on your own.
Yeah.
Did it sort of help you to the fact of thinking, this isn't just sort of me, this is all of us that are going through this?
Technically, yeah, but then again though, like, because we were like going through that process, we like behaved in a different manner and stuff. Like my brother Joseph, he was just like, you know, like winding people up on the estate, like getting chased and stuff and everything as well.
So then going to school, Did you then go to school already? Would you say you were already having problems sort of early on because of what you'd been through?
Yeah. Well, to be honest with you, though, like, because with me being autistic as well, right, my mum made out to, like, all teaching that, oh, I'm really special needs and everything, so I constantly had support next to me all the time, and that's something I did not like at all, because I like a thing called personal space, and
you constantly had these people around you when you wanted this breakaway and you wanted the separation.
and plus it wasn't just happening in school, it was happening out of school as well, because when my mum got put under, when I got put under child protection, I had to have a carer at home all the time, so I was going home to a carer sitting next to me, like playing on the Xbox and that all the time, and that's something I didn't really like, because after a stressful day, you want to be on your own, don't you?
What do you think the reason was that falls for? So if we say, like, for example, your mum, you know, has done some horrendous things to you, but then to turn around the other thing saying, oh, he needs help. What do you reckon the reason that was for?
It was because, basically, because she was a single mother looking after 3 kids by herself.
So she wanted help.
Yeah.
It was basically for herself then.
Yeah, basically.
As selfish as that sounds.
More than the kids and stuff, really.
How did it affect you at school then, all this?
Really bad though, to be fair, especially like when my dad was like getting things for me and stuff, but he couldn't get all the things for me because obviously he were like working and like having to pay bills for himself and everything. So I remember one Christmas, right, when I went over to my stepmom and she said to me, what did you get for Christmas? And then I told her everything that I got for Christmas, and she turned around and said, you do know that we got you that. So my mum never got me anything really for Christmas at all. Nothing, even though that she had some like support money and everything to help her out and help us, but she kept it all for herself and everything. So
has she got a relationship with your brothers?
No.
So none of you speak to her?
None of.
Listen, mate, I think that shows, I know it's your mum, so I won't say too much, but I think that shows the type of woman that she really is, and regardless if it's family or it's not family, sometimes the people like that you don't want in your life, mate. You're better off like you are, you know. You are. You don't need. You've obviously got a really close relationship with your stepmom. Yeah. You know, by the sound you're close to your dad as well, and you know that's what you need, mate. How bad at school was it? And were you bullying? Were you getting a lot of bullying?
Yeah, I got loads of bullying, especially like when I was wearing clothes since I was like a little kid and everything. Like I remember when I was about 16 and I had no other tops to wear, and I had this Transformers t-shirt. Yeah. And then I was literally like hiking and stuff, and all I could eat. Everyone just laughing at me behind my back and everything, and it really hurt me as a person, though, to be fair, especially like when I just think, hang on a minute, why is everyone wearing nice clothes and I aren't? You know what I mean? Like, it was
them sorts of, I imagine that sort of thing has stuck with you as you got older. Do you use that sort of thing as, obviously I know now with your Thai boxing and things, you're absolutely flying with what you're doing. Do you use that as a bit of a motivation?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. Especially like with all the things that I went through as a kid as well, and like it wasn't just in high school, it was in primary school as well. Like it was just really hard for me and stuff, really. But when I got into high school and that was more difficult, because obviously you're facing like bigger challenges and like facing like people who are a lot bigger than you as well. You know what I mean? But
do you think having autism made you a bit more of a target as well?
Yeah, absolutely. Because I developed a thing called social anxiety. Like back in those days, like do you know, like how me and you were talking right now. Back when I was a little kid, I couldn't really talk like that though. Like I'd use a stammer, I'd start stuttering quite a lot, and everyone used to laugh at me. Like I remember that time when I sat in RE. Do you know when teachers like asking like people questions and stuff? Yeah. And everyone's
looking at you, aren't they?
And people say to you, well, not people say, sorry mate, do you know what teacher? Yeah. She'd go, George, can you answer this question? And I was like, I don't know. And then someone turned around to me, George, you're a spastic, and everyone just laughed at me, and that just brought me down, literally.
Do you know what, mate? I know the exact same things at times from myself, in things of people look at you, and when you get laughed at for answering something and it's wrong, you feel humiliated. You feel that everyone's laughing at you and looking at you, and you know. And I think especially at school, everyone just sort of follow the crowd, don't they? Yeah. You know, that's what I do. Somebody says something trying to be funny and things are, and they'll follow the crowd, and
just do like better themselves and stuff.
Yeah, listen, and you know, them sort of people probably not very happy at the time. Yeah. You know, and it, you know, it shows what they're like a lot, and it does. How bad did the bullying actually get then?
Like severely bad. Like when I was a little kid growing up on that estate, I had like sausages, like food. I had like water and everything chucked at me. Like there were people like making me chill around with them for the laugh of it. Like I get constantly laughed at and taking piss out of me and everything. It was just.
So then from school, is it you went sixth form, didn't you?
Yeah, I went to sixth form.
How
Yeah.
did you find that?
I didn't really like it though, to be fair. I mean, don't get me wrong though, like when you're in sixth form, you can basically do what you want near enough. Like you feel like an adult near enough because in school and that, you're basically getting treated like a little kid. But then when you're in sixth form, you get treated like an adult though, don't you?
Yeah.
So anyways, right, because I did not know what I wanted to do, bearing in mind when I was about 15 as well, when I faced all the bullying, I started boxing, but I didn't really like it because
You didn't take to it.
I didn't take to it because I was fat, lazy, and I didn't like just getting tired all the time. So I ended up quitting just like that, and I just felt like a loser, especially like when everyone would treat me like I was a loser. Like I remember that time when I was in PE and I was in bottom set for everything, and I tried going in top set, and they said, "No, you'll never get in top set, you, because you're never going to be an athlete," and that's what they said to me. Well, that's what this one teacher.
Shows now, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Shows now from them people, mate. You know, and them sort of
absolutely,
people, you know, like I say, use them as motivation, and you do. When did you actually start fighting fully then?
19.
So obviously between 15 and 19, before that, what were you doing then?
Right, so I was at sixth form for like a year.
Yeah.
And then as well, because my mum made out I was special needs, I got kept behind a year in school as well.
Right.
So that was hard for me as well because I was the oldest in my year and like
So what age did you get kept back at?
just year 5, something like that.
Right,
Yeah,
okay.
year 5, yeah.
Right, okay. So then they put you back here and that, and I'm guessing that hurt you there.
Yeah, and plus as well in that year 5 as well, because I faced a lot of bullying as well, I developed like anger issues and everyone would just like take it mick out of me all the time, and I said F this, so I ended up like kicking off. And I didn't really like do the full year in year 5, and that's another reason why I got kept behind a year as well, because of that reason.
When you left school, then where did you go? Where, after sort of sixth form, did you go into work, or were you having problems straight away there?
I was having problems straight away there because while I was at sixth form, I was chilling with the wrong crowd outside of school as well. Like they were like doing drugs, like smoking crack, sniffing a lot of sniff, and like smoking a lot of weed and stuff like that as well.
So did you get hooked onto that stuff, all that sort of stuff as well?
Well, I tried crack like 3 times, but I just said, I didn't want to do that anymore. But I was more hooked on like weed and like sniffing a lot of sniff and everything like that.
So how much did your life sort of spiral from that point, would you say?
Like it came from that all the way down just within like 2 months really, because I was chilling with the wrong people and stuff. And like I didn't do just them drugs. I started doing like ecstasy and like MD and stuff as well. And like people would like laugh at me for being off my head and stuff all the time really.
So them type of people that you had around you were not the best sort of people to have around you at the time?
No, far from it. Because
do you think they took advantage of you?
Oh yeah, absolutely, because they were like robbing my money and stuff, and like doing all like making me like, you know, like say, oh yeah, George, because you wanted boys and that, can you buy this for us and that, and as well.
Using you on.
I mean, it didn't happen all the time, and it didn't let them most of the time, but like they did do that quite often though, to be fair. Like
trying to use you, weren't they?
Yeah, literally, like they were using me all the time and stuff. And then anyways, there were one night I was sat in my bedroom and I actually bought some for myself, and I started sniffing in my bedroom, and then it got it got really bad, to be fair, because I remember just thinking there, like,
just take your time.
Yeah, when do you know, like throughout my past and everything and all that shit that I went through, I ended up trying to take my own life.
Right. Was that in your bedroom?
Yeah, that was in my bedroom, yeah.
Right, okay. Did that, from that moment of you trying to do that, did that sort of wake you up a little bit at that time?
Absolutely, because it failed as well. And I said, you know what, I need to sort my life out and everything. So straight after that, because when I was at sixth form, I didn't like just sitting there, because I'm one of these people that like to like move about and stuff. And because my dad was a ground worker, I tended to join a construction course at college. Right. So that's when I started my bricklaying, and then did my bricklaying. I was there for about a year, and then I ended up getting an apprenticeship after that. And bearing in mind, during that time, I was still like, do you know, like doing drugs a little bit. Like I still wasn't like fully processed through. Yeah. And then I worked with this lad who was a really good mate of mine to this day. And he told me that he used to kickbox as a kid and everything. And that made me really intrigued, because I knew for a fact that that would solve a lot of my problems as well.
So for you, for somebody who's had the troubles that you've had, how important do you think sort of martial arts is to young people?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd say it's the most important thing in the world, because it takes you out of that negative world and puts you in a positive. Because when I'm there in that training, you know, in that training class and everything, I always feel safe all the time. Like, unlike when you go out there and chill with the wrong people, just use you and that.
And the people that you'll have in the gym are the right people.
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
They want good for you.
It's just a positive atmosphere in that way. Started my training at 19, had like 2 amateur fights, which I won both of them as well.
Yeah.
And just about a year and a half after that, when I was 21, bearing in mind I was still living with my abusive mother at the time, but then it led to me getting kicked out of home, and I became homeless and everything, and I was like surfing all over the place, and yeah, it was a really bad time for me though.
Is that when so did you lose your job?
Yeah, I lost my job as well because that went bankrupt as well.
Oh, so the company that you were at basically went bankrupt on that.
Yeah,
and then that was the worst possible time as well because you were then with your mum.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah,
it was basically both things. Basically, then put you in a situation where you were like, look, you're on the street. How come what happened with your mum to make you go homeless?
So basically, I remember walking in one time and she was out already. And I seen her computer downstairs, and I looked at my phone, and I walked past it, and my leg caught the leg of it, and it all fell on the floor. I went, no way, my mum's going to kick off and that. So I tried putting it all back in the right place. And then I said, because I couldn't do it, I had to walk out the house and go to this other lad's house who I used to be mates with, but not anymore, because like I said, he was robbing me and everything as well. Yeah, so I got down there, and then as I left it for enough time, because I knew she was going back home, I walked back up home. She ended up locking the door, and I went, Mum, can you open the door? She went, no, you're out, I don't want you here. Because that reason something over, like, you know, like petty and stuff. But then again, though, she didn't really give a shit about me. So technically, that was her way out of getting me kicked out and everything.
Do you know what? I don't think it's a bad thing that's happened in the end to you, mate. When was the last time you had any contact with her?
Probably about 5 years ago, probably around that time.
Right.
Yeah.
Listen, you don't need some of them people about, do you? Yeah. How long were you homeless for?
Probably about 3 months.
Right, well, 3 months is definitely enough. Where were you actually staying?
Like, I was staying at my mate's house, surfing there. Then I was like going to my other mate's house as well. Like, I was just surfing around the place. It got to a point where I actually slept outside. And yeah, that was quite.
You had quite a few nights outside.
Yeah, well, not a few, but I definitely had some night outs on the street as well.
Christ. So I'm guessing you've seen it all then.
Yeah.
I think that sort of thing has given you toughness.
Yeah, absolutely.
You've made your mentality quite strong from dealing with them sort of hard times.
Yeah, well, that's it. Yeah, because like with me fighting and stuff like that, all I get is all them bad thoughts into me, and that's what motivates me more, because I don't want to get back to that situation. And like, therefore,
use it as a positive.
Yeah, and plus with me being autistic as well, making me obsessive and everything. I feel like, ever since when I started my training at 19, I felt like the reason why I've been put on this earth is just to inspire those with that. Because I don't like reading and writing. I can read, but
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't like sitting in a classroom and that. The thing is, I'll never go to uni. I'll never get like high grades and stuff. I only came out with 2 GCSE English, and you know what's funny? My mum said to like all teachers that I could not read, but then yet I literally passed both my English and like got my own house and like, you know, started working as a bricklayer and everything.
She had no faith, did she?
No faith at all.
And I think it just shows her as a person, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
And it did. So when you were at that point, when you then had nowhere to live, where did you then get to a situation where you did? Who took you in, or where were you?
So basically, like when I was homeless and that, because I was surfing anyways, I reached out to my uncle, because I was like really close with him, and I still love him to this day, and he's like my best mate and stuff as well. I reached out to him, and he said, George, just come. And then I walked in, and then from there, I moved all my stuff that I had on the street with me, like put it in there. And then after that, this was just before lockdown,
Yeah.
So just before lockdown, as I moved in, I was like looking around for jobs, and then my best mate, who I was working with till I moved to Thailand, he reached out to me, and I couldn't have thanked him enough for getting me a job like that, and I couldn't have thanked my uncle as well for doing that for me as well, because I tried going in with my dad, but he didn't want out to do with me because I was still under like drug addiction and stuff as well, near enough.
Yeah.
Like, because I started my training at 19, and I was still like, you know, like doing bits and that. But during that time, I had lost contact with my dad and my stepmom and my brother, because they knew I was doing drugs. They're like hard-working people, have never touched drugs in their life and stuff.
So both your brothers, were they living with your dad?
No. They were living on their own. Well, my older brother, he was living on his own, but my twin brother as well, he just moved out into this flat.
Right, okay. So they, at that time, they started to, obviously, everything that happened, obviously, hit you harder, didn't it?
Yeah.
It took you a bit longer to get where you needed to be.
Yeah,
and
that's
then
it, yeah.
You obviously used your things that have been bad against you. You've used it as a motivation. But
that's it, yeah.
Has it been sort of hard since then to trust people again?
Yeah, but, like the thing is with me as well, I've got really bad trust issues and stuff, and that's why I like to keep my
It's
circle
understandable.
small, because there's a saying as well, the more people that you have around with you, the more bullshit that's going to occur, you know what I mean?
Do you know what? I've just before had somebody else on before you. It was massive on like recovery and everything. Does a fantastic recovery program, and he was saying his circle is his missus and his kids. And I said, I was saying, oh, I like friends or anything. He was like, nope, that's all I need. He said, because he says I have acquaintances and I have people that I need, but the people I truly trust is my miss and I trust my kids.
Yeah.
You know, your circle as you get older doesn't need to be big.
Yeah.
Because, I can just say for myself, I've always had quite a big circle. I've always had a big network of friends. The older I've got, the smaller it's got. You know, the smaller it gets,
Yeah,
because you realise who the true people are, and you realise who
that's
are
it.
not the true people. And there's some people that are good to have in your life, and some people that don't bring any good in your life.
Yeah,
and you
that's
need
it.
to make sure you can identify them. As long as you're doing what you're happy doing and you're focused on what you're doing,
Yeah,
and
that's it,
you're
yeah.
keeping that right. Don't let these people take you off track. You
Yeah.
know, you keep yourself on track what you're doing.
Yeah, well, that's it. Because at the end of the day, though, like, because if you're surrounded by negative knobheads, then you're not going to get anywhere in life, though, are you?
Absolutely.
Because you can't teach them anything. But unlike when you're surrounded by the positive people, they'll tell you to go in that good direction as well. Just like everyone in my life, like my dad, my stepmom, my best mates, my uncle, all them lot. If it weren't for them, I wouldn't have been here
I was about to
today.
say, how much do you think you owe to them? I think it's nice as well, mate, that obviously you've said that you've had some people that have took advantage of it. You have still got some really good people
Yeah,
in your
that's
life.
it, yeah.
By the sounds of it,
And
you have got good people.
Yeah,
around
that's
you.
it. And the thing is, like, I owe them my gratitude as well, because they've believed in me from the beginning. Even though that, I mean, I'm not gonna lie to you, with me going through drug addiction and that and stuff as well. Like, I'm not exactly being the best, but I've always like looked through that tunnel and looked at the light at the end of the tunnel and said, you know what, I'm gonna reach out to that light at the tunnel and say, you know what, I'm gonna be the best person and the best version of myself.
I think that's what it's all about, mate. At the end of the day, I'm sure them people only want you to do well. That's all they will.
Yeah, that's
How
it.
tough has it been not to get back into the wrong crowd, or has it been quite easy for yourself?
Really easy, because
You know what's better for
yeah,
you.
that's it. Yeah, and the thing is, while you learn that while you're young and that, and especially facing all that bullying and stuff, you don't want to be around that circle. When as well, if you're in a positive circle, that's a circle that you just don't want to leave as well. Just like with me exercising though, like that to me is the best drug out of anything that I've done in my life.
For so many people saying that lately, so many people that are saying the exact same thing, and it's proven, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's proven. So around that time, what is that? You said you were back training again. At that point.
Yes.
Was the aims of training? Was the aims for you to be well mentally, or was the aim always when you were there? Were you thinking, look, I'm wanting to start taking this serious, or how was it when you when you started getting into it?
Well, this time I wanted to take it. Well, I did take it seriously before, but this time I wanted it more than ever, because when I had that 3-year layoff from the age of 21, when I got kicked out of home to the age of 24, like I was still like sorting myself out. Like I had to get my own house, I had to pass my driving test and everything like that as well. Like I wasn't like really fit to go back training just yet, because I had a few things to sort out myself. Like I was doing nights. No, not nights, sorry. Do you know, like working late at work to save up for my house and stuff, sorry. Sorry, my words just came out wrong.
Is this, were you still living at this time at your uncle's?
Yeah, I was still living there, but then about a year and a half later, when I was 22, I moved out because I needed like my own space and everything and like that, really. I mean, me and my uncle, we've had ups and downs, and I love it to death to this day, but I just needed like my own space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
How bad was lockdown on you?
yeah, really bad, because during that time I lost my job, I had stopped training, I lost all my family, and I remember that time when I was walking through the woods as well with my uncle's dog, and this was the second time when I actually tried to commit suicide again. I actually got my hoodie as well, wrapped it, and I put it up, and I lifted my legs up, and I tried to do it, but my dog just kept jumping up on me. Yeah.
What's give you the mindset then to keep sort of training and keeping that mindset of fighting?
Well, basically, right, so I, until I was 24, that's when I came back and made my debut fight back, but then there were one time at work, I had a really bad day, and then because I was not progressing, because there was a reason why I started fighting in the first place, but because I had so much time off and I was doing something that I didn't really want to do. I mean, yeah, I enjoyed it, and I loved working with my best mate. We had some right laughs and everything, but do you want to be in a place where you just don't want to be when you're more ambitious for fighting than actually like working into a 9 to 5 job itself?
Was your headspace always then you were at work, but you were always thinking about
All the time. Like sometimes I'll be shadow boxing in the canteen and stuff. I'll be doing it all. Yeah, literally.
Was it always sort of Thai boxing for you then, or was there anything else? Was there ever temptations to maybe go into boxing or anything like that?
Well, like I said to you, I started boxing at 15, but I only did that for 2 months. But then the reason why I started Thai boxing, not any other martial arts, because my cousins were fighting Thai boxing themselves. Like I've got a cousin called Ryan who's a world champion Thai boxer, and I've got my little cousin Logan who used to be a
It's
the family. It's the family thing, yeah.
Where is he training then now?
I'm training at Core Combat Sports, so this is what I want to give a big shout out to my 3 gyms. So I've got 2 gyms over here, which is Core Combat Sports and Bad Company Gym, which I train at. So Core Combat Sports in Bradford and Bad Company's in Leeds. But I've also got my other gym in Thailand, which is Chanrik Gym, who really looked after me throughout my time in Thailand. Yeah.
What's the reason for having 2 different gyms? As in Leeds and Bradford, what's the reason for it?
So basically, I started out at Bad Company at first. I've got a lot of mates there, and I like being in that gym as well.
Yeah.
But then also with this Core Combat gym as well, I like being in that gym as well. But the reason why that is because I only started training there recently, not a long time ago. My dad asked me to go there, so I said, you know what, I'll give it a try, and then never looked back really. So I like training at that 2 gyms at the same time really.
Is that hard work sometimes on which one to sort of go to, or?
No. Like I've got the thing is with me though, I have a routine throughout the week as well, and because I train 6 days a week, I train at Bad Company 3 times, yeah, and I train at
train hard then.
yeah. So I train at Bad Company 3 times a week, and also train at Core Combat Sports 3 times a week as well. So I space it out 6 times a week, and then on a Sunday I just do what I want really, or if I feel like training like any other thing like boxing or something, I just do that.
When you think about autism, do you think in terms of training your autism's helped you? Because you think
absolutely.
of autism being people get quite obsessed. That's what people think to it.
Yeah, because the thing is though, when I first started training as well, like a month into there, like everyone was just looking at me like really impressed and stuff, and like they was asking me, how long have you done this for? I went, I've only been doing it for a month. And they went, what, and you're that good and everything, and like
I bet that was a massive confidence boost for you.
It was as well though.
For somebody that's, you know, how you spoke to me, you've always been put down.
Yeah.
You've always been told, you're not good enough, you can't do it.
Yeah, that's it.
And then you're going into an environment that people are saying, fucking hell, mate, you've been doing this a month, you're pretty good at it. How much of a confidence boost was that for you?
Oh, massively though, mate, because like I said to you, like, I'm one of these people, I get this off my dad as well, because my dad's a very hard-working man.
Yeah.
And I feel like I get that fighting spirit because of him, because if something needs doing, it needs doing, and I feel like I work hard in it, especially that I love doing it as well, because like I said to you, I can't picture myself like working normally and stuff and everything, even though that I've enjoyed like my bricklaying career with my best mate and stuff. But
how do you manage to do it financially? Because at the minute you're not working, then you're just Thai boxing.
No, I'm working still. Yeah.
Oh, so you're still doing it?
Yeah, I'm still working. Yeah.
So you're working and you're training 6 days a week.
Yeah, and I've done that for like 5 years now. And like working full time as well.
Right. What do you do? What are you doing job wise?
Well, I used to be a bricklayer, but now I'm a fire stopper. But that's because, so basically, months ago, right, I flew back out to Thailand, but I got deported back because I had the wrong visa.
Oh, is that what they do?
Yeah, so I flew there back in 2 days, yeah, and then,
really?
and then this is how I met. Do you know your best mate Rowan?
Yeah.
I was on this building site, but the manager, I won't mention his name, but I did not like him at all. He would treat him like shit because I was a young lad trying his hardest, like work and stuff. Anyways, I ended up just leaving, and then during that time as well, the economy was so low, so I couldn't find any work. And then even after, I couldn't find any work either. So then I looked on Indeed, and then I found this company that I work for now, which is a really good company to work for. And yeah, they've got a good set of lads on there, and it's fire protection. It's fire protection. That's what it is.
Right, sounds good, man. So Thailand, how long was it before you came back? When did you come back?
I came back. So it was last November when I came back.
Right, so is the idea to go out there?
Yeah. The thing is, I would have gone back out there earlier, but first of all, when I came back, I had no money, no nothing, and because I've started working again, I can save up now, and plus I've got problems with my kidneys and stuff, so I need to get this operation out of the way. But as soon as I've got that operation out of the way, I'm more than ready to come back.
Why? What's going on with the kidneys?
So I've got a rare genetic disease called cystinuria. So even if I grow kidney stones and like get rid of them, they still grow back and stuff. And that's
Really?
that's why the fighting's so beneficial for me, because it helps me to like eat right. Even though I'm a fat fucker a lot of time, like
I know the feeling there.
yeah,
I know the feeling.
yeah, you gotta love your food, haven't you?
Yeah. So, what is the idea to go to Thailand? Is what you wanted to go out there permanently?
So basically, when I were in Thailand, right, bearing in mind, so the reason why I went to Thailand in the first place is because I was working as a bricklayer for so long, right, but I knew I didn't want to do it anymore because I weren't feeling happy, even though working with the positive people and that. I just wasn't feeling happy, mate, because I wasn't like fighting and like, well, even though that I came back fighting after 3 years of starting my training, so altogether I've been doing it 7 years. As I was working at work one day, right, I had a really bad day and I went back to my parents' house and I said, yeah, I'm so stressed out and everything. I don't even know why I'm doing this anymore. And the only things that my dad and my stepmom said to me, well, what are you doing there then? So then that made me think so much. I went, you know what, sod this. So do you know what I did? I booked a one-way ticket and went out there. That's what I did. I said, you know what, fuck this. I'm going to book it and just go out there. And that's exactly what I did.
Is that the time when you had your visa, or is that when you actually went out before that?
That's when I actually went out before that.
How long were you there then?
About 8 months.
Is that why you were there?
Yeah, 8 months, yeah.
Right. How many? And was the aim, as soon as you got over there, was it train?
Yeah, train and achieve what I wanted in life and stuff, really, because I wanted to fight full time as well.
So that's the aim, innit?
Yeah.
So how many fights did you have over there?
I had 4 pro fights, 2 wins, 2 losses, but I also got a title out of it as well.
You fought somebody on one championship?
Yeah, I did. So my first fight that I had, I fought against this guy who fought on this big league that's known around Europe called Octagon, and they were called Bola Askabekov. Really good fighter, really good friend of mine as well. But yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong though, the fight didn't really go my way. Like he kept wrestling me down to the floor, even though he wasn't allowed to do that anyways, because he tried to knock me out, but he couldn't do that. So because of that, I felt like he gave up in that process. And yeah, I managed to get the win. And obviously, yeah, you're buzzing about a winning that, but I wish I could have won it in a different way. And then
what's your sort of fight style?
I don't know. Like I like doing like low kicks and like stuff like that. I'm more of a kicker, really.
I've seen you kicking.
Yeah.
Thank
you, mate. Nice for that.
I've seen everyone saying that. Yeah, keep at it, brother. Keep at it. So nice. when are you going back?
As soon as I get this operation out of the way, that's when I will go back. But I was aiming to go back sooner, but obviously with this operation, I can't spar and I can't fly properly or anything. So
obviously, you said when you were over there, you had 2 wins. Was it 2 losses?
Yeah.
How did you deal with the losses?
Brought me my motivation because
I was about to say, did you deal with it the good way or did you sort of sink?
Well, the first one I dealt it in a good way because it was bearing in mind it was my first taste of elbows and they kept elbowing me like I've got a scar right there and everything, but it made me feel good because I actually went through all 5 rounds and took it really. In the second one, that really hurt me because, I mean, yeah, I'm not going to lie to you, the guy was a heavy hitter as well. Like, I looked at his Instagram and he was like nearly knocking his trainer out and everything, and that made me so scared.
I was about to say, do you get nervous before a fight?
I do, actually, I do. But then again, though, I look at myself and think, well, you started fighting in the first place, why are you doing it? Because like I said to you, I reckon I got put on this earth to like inspire those with people who are autistic themselves. And
I think the focus that you're doing and stuff like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and the thing is, and the thing is, well, right, when I first went to Thailand, that was difficult for me as well because when you're autistic and that, you don't like to go out of your comfort zone. But then again, though, if you're not getting yourself out there, not take a risk, then you're going to do the same stuff the rest of your life, aren't you? I was about
to say, mate, think, fair play to you. You've gone all the way to Thailand and stayed there 8 months. How was it? How did you find it living over there?
I mean, yeah, it was good, like, but I found it difficult at the same time, really, because you're missing your family and stuff, really, aren't you? Like, you can't go home and like call your mum and dad and stuff, really. You know what I mean?
I know Rowan. Rowan said to me when he was over there, he says he was in the gym and they had some rule or something to do with. He said they were getting cleaned up or something like that, and then he says the bell went or something like that, and everybody else was running into the ring. He says he stood there and they turned around and was like 100 burpees or something. Oh, yeah. He was like, what? What was it? 100 burpees. You went in the ring. He's the only one stood there.
Yeah.
Oh, the paid to have been a fly on wall and watched him doing that.
Yeah, it's mad though, to be fair. But what's funny, right? I remember meeting this girl, right? And then obviously, like, when you have sex and that, all your testosterone goes out, doesn't it?
Right.
Anyways, I met this girl at 4 o'clock in the morning, right? I obviously did my thing, enjoyed my time, and at 6 o'clock, I'd still be run and go train. But then, as soon as I went training, I had to spar with the coach for about an hour.
Oh, so you were done in?
Yeah, and I got absolutely battered. Like, I kept covering up and everything. Like, I came from feeling all alive to like all the way down, really.
What's the difference in training then from over there to here?
Over there, it's more intense, really.
Is it a lot harder?
Yeah, a lot harder, yeah, because you get paced through like more rounds, especially like when the weather's that hot and everything, it's hard to train in that. But unlike over here, we're like used to it and stuff, really. Like, we can get wrapped up to get like warm and everything.
Do you do a lot of running over there?
Yeah, I do.
Did they make over here? Obviously, I can't comment too much, but I know one thing Rowan said to me. He says it's really common over there from doing a lot of running, whereas over here you don't really see. I don't really see Thai boxing gyms doing much running sort of inside the sort of gym.
Yeah.
Is that a really common thing that before you train you run?
I literally, no matter what, I always have to run though, mate. Because I remember that one time, right, when I was like, well, I never used to run, right, bearing in mind I won my first 2 amateur fights, right. I remember one time when I was about 23, 24, and I read up about, you know, David Goggins, have you heard about him?
Yeah, of course, yeah.
I read up about him and like the way that he talks about in the mindset and everything like that. And he said as well that he suffered with like special needs and like learning disabilities just like myself, and he went through child abuse himself, and that's what inspired me to like do that. And then I remember that time when I went out for that one run, and it was only a 5 kilometer run, and it took me like ages to do, like, but after that, just the feeling, like the outcome of it just made me like a lot better. Like the nerves came out of me. I felt like I wanted to talk to people instead of getting into my own head and stuff like that, really. But
what advice would you give to somebody else then, you know, with autism? You know, like I know that is your thing that you're saying, you're wanting to inspire people, especially with autism. What would you say to somebody else with autism that's sat about maybe the situation that you were at when you were younger? What sort of advice would you give to them?
well, the advice I give to them is if you've got a voice in your head that you're meant for something, right, and if you go out there and do something, well, like I said to you, like I knew from a little kid, like even though I went through all that abuse, I always had that voice in my head that I was meant for something.
Yeah.
But I never knew that until I was 19. So the advice I give them is there's always hope in life, no matter what you go through. I know days can be tough, like I remember that time when I was bricklaying as well, right? And yeah, sometimes I struggle, like, but my gaffer was going to let me go because he knew fine well that I was autistic and stuff, and he said to everybody that I was never going to make it. But then as I started working my best mate, we started building a lot of houses and stuff. I mean, don't get me wrong though, like he did all of it near enough, but obviously I was there to help him as well and everything. Yeah,
you were there to mock him, mate. I think you need to don't discredit yourself.
Yeah, that's
the things you're doing. Don't play it down on what you're doing. Don't discredit. You know, you've been there. You've been working with him. You know, be proud of yourself, mate. How do you handle the dark days then? If you do struggle some days, have you got a thing that apart from exercise, have you got a sort of a go-to that you do?
Well, it's funny you say that, right? Because every time I've had a bad day, right, I get that thing where I just don't want to train at all. But then I always have the best sessions out of it. But then there's days that I feel motivated, and then when I go there, most of the time I always have bad sessions as well. So it's kind of one way or the other, like. But like you say, like with me having positive people around me, I always think like, oh yeah, I'm in this dark place. But then I think, what have I got? I've got a beautiful family. I've got all the positive people around me, and that makes me rich in that way. You know what I mean?
You got to be proud of yourself, mate, and you have. And I don't think a lot of people have. A lot of people don't love themselves. You know, you got to have a bit of self-love and be proud of what you're doing and the journey that you've been on. You know, you're doing really well, mate. So the people that have hurt you over the past, we talk about the bullying. I know, obviously, we spoke about your mum, and we talk about other things. Did them sort of have you sort of forgiven them sort of things, or is them sort of things still in your mind? How do you struggle with your like sort of anger towards it?
Yeah, well, like I said, I developed like a lot of anger issues when I was a kid and that. I mean, when I was smoking weed and stuff like that, it was making me more angry and stuff because because in everything that if there's a high, there's always a low.
Yeah, of course, yeah.
And like every time I was getting like, you know, stoned and everything, like you get all that funny stuff in your head, but then as obviously when it wears off, you tend to get like really depressed and like you think about all the bad stuff that's happened to you, and that just makes you like really angry and stuff, really. You're
obviously in a situation now where you're a Thai boxer that's, you know, a very good Thai boxer.
Thank you.
The people that were bullying you and things like that, you could in the nicest way beat him up.
Yeah.
You could. Is it hard for you to sort of look away from that and to sort of think, nah, I'm not about that. I'm not doing that. I'm sticking to my fighting. How difficult is it when you get them thoughts in your head thinking, you did this to me, I could do this to you now. How would you like it back?
Yeah.
How difficult is it to sort of forget them things?
It's very difficult. Like, they're still with me, like, on a daily basis as well. But like I said, as long as I go to the gym and come back home to my beautiful family, I tend to forget about all that though, mate.
Use it as motivation, man. Like you have been. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, because every time I'm hitting pads and, like, going up bag and, like, doing my running and stuff, it all just comes to my head. But then also as well, there's also one thing that comes into my mind as well, my future, because I want to be one of the greatest fighters to ever live one day.
What's next in terms of fighting? Where do you want to be?
Like I said to you, my first win, I beat that guy on Octagon, but then in my other fight, which is like the biggest win that I've ever had, like, that went through all 5 rounds, close fight, but I still managed to get the win. And I got the title as well. But that guy who I beat has fought on big stages like Karate Combat, One Championship, and Rajadam Nern Stadium.
So it's the top level.
Yeah,
fight.
like the top level. So
you're fighting the Thais as well, aren't you?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, you watch some of the movies and things with some of the Thai fighters. Is there a lot of you see a lot of betting that goes on the side?
Yeah.
Do you think any of the fight? Obviously, I'm not trying to say yours. Do you think some of the fights are rigged?
Yeah, I'd probably say so because like I said to you, some of them are there for sure, really, especially like when they want tourists to win, because usually they get Thai boxers to win not Thai people.
Yeah.
Because they're like more experienced than us, really.
So a lot, because you see at times, I've watched. I don't know.
Well, I think it's that. Like, I'm not too specific.
I don't know if I think it was Louis Theroux. I think he was doing a documentary in Thailand, and I remember seeing he was interviewing one of these Thai fighters, and there was massive money getting put in for these Thais. They were betting on the side, and when he lost, there was absolute screaming in his face and everything, and he's just in a corner, some like 10-year-olds like that. You're absolutely bollocking from these people betting big money. So where do you go in the next 2 years? So when you go over to Thailand, how do you get into a situation that obviously you're saying you want to be the best at the race and things like that? How do you get to that point? What's the steps that you need to take to get to there?
Well, first of all, hard work. You need to like get up. So say like when you're not motivated for one day, you need to get up on that day because you need to think about your opponent as well, because at the end of the day, if you're not putting through that hard work, then you're not going to get anywhere as well.
How do you get to that sort of stage? So you think of someone like Liam Harrison that sort of got to a stage where he did. How do you get down to that sort of stage? Well, how is it consistently fighting all the time? Or
I'd say it's constantly fighting all the time as well, but at the same time though, you've got to like work your way up towards it as well.
How often do you have to sort of fight then?
Quite often, to be fair. But I mean, don't get me wrong though, like when I was living in Thailand last year, I had 4 pro fights in the space of 4 months as well. So
that's what it was.
Yeah, we're quite active though, to be fair. But when I go back out to Thailand, I want to do more than that in a month, really, because I want to get, well, like I said to you, I do want my numbers up and that as well, but I want to achieve what I want as well. So the plan is for me, right, in these next 2 years, for when I go back, I want to fight at like different stadiums and get like titles, and then hopefully get to like big stages like One Championship, Glory, Karate Combat, whichever.
And then you want to get max. So are you wanting to go live in Thailand in the end? Is that the aim?
Well, I do want to live there, yeah, but I want to live there for 2 years and like achieve what I want out of Thai fights and everything. And then once I've done that as well, like once I've achieved what I want, so now I'm 26 years old, like from then till I'm 30, I want at least like 50 pro Thai boxing fights, a lot of titles with one of the major titles I was talking about, like One Championship and stuff, and then straight after that I want to like get into like MMA and hopefully get to like the UFC. Or,
is that the aim?
Yeah, and then
obviously you've got a really good Thai boxing background, so is that the aim? Then you want 2 years in Thai boxing, and then your aim is to sort of try transition sort of MMA.
I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. Like sometimes life isn't the way you want it to be. Sometimes, but like I said to you, I'm really ambitious about it as well. So like my aim, like really, like I want to like achieve a world title in Thai boxing, K1, MMA, and I was actually thinking about boxing because
you're going for a lot, aren't you?
Yeah. I really enjoy it though. To be fair,
you're going to be the Rod Tang Mayweather of John Jones. Listen, there's nothing wrong with being ambitious, mate. I think being ambitious is what it's all about. I think if you're not ambitious, you won't do it. You've got to put yourself out there.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and the thing is as well, right? Like people say, oh yeah, I've retired from this, but in my head, though, I don't think I'll ever retire. Like because even if I had like broken hands, I'd probably like go into like jiu-jitsu and stuff really, and like just do that really.
I think you need it for yourself, don't you?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, especially when you have a constant battle in your mind every day, and like doing all that stuff actually helps with it quite a lot as well.
Do you do I know you don't have much time, to be fair, as in with what you're doing at the gym. Do you do any weights or all that?
Yeah, I do actually, but I only do that like twice a week.
So you do majority Thai boxing and things like that. Have you ever tried doing any wrestling? Sort of.
Well, funny you say that, because when I started when I went back trading at 22, right, I was at an MMA gym, which I'm not at anymore. Long story, like, but because they did like a lot of wrestling and jiu-jitsu, I tended to like get into that a bit, but I was like more hooked on like my stand-up really, so yeah.
You do what you're strong at.
Yeah, that's it.
You go down that point and then you go to that after and you see what's next.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
What are you most proud of, mate?
What am I most proud of?
Yeah. In your life so far, what are you most proud of after everything that you've sort of accomplished and you've achieved and you've overcome from all your recovery? We talk about suicide attempts, talk about you being homeless. You've had a tough time, mate.
Yeah.
What are you most proud of?
Becoming the better person that I am today.
It's great to see, man. It is. You need to continue on that route and don't let people hold you back. And, what would you say to some of them people that have sort of doubted you and there's, George, you can't do that, what the fuck are you doing? You are able to. What would you sort of say to some people?
I just look at them and just laugh and just walk away.
I think that's the best thing you can do. It's the best medicine, mate. Definitely. Continue on your journey, mate. I appreciate you coming on.
No, you're welcome anytime.
Mate, proud of you. It's certainly the first time I met you, but for everything you've overcome and you're doing yourself proud, mate. You are.
Thank you, mate.
Continue what you're doing. Keep being ambitious and keep focused and keep training hard, which is the best thing for you. And you've had tough times, mate, and you have. And listen, if you ever need a chat, I'm always here, mate. And I always will, mate.
Likewise as well. You should do yourself proud as well, especially like you've got this like lovely studio that you've got around here as well.
I appreciate it, brother. So what I'll do is I'll share your Instagram. Everyone give George a follow and stuff like that, and keep an eye on his journey. He's going to be the Rod Sang of John
Thank
Jones.
You, mate. Nice one for that.
Cheers, brother.
You're the next Joe Rogan as well.
Cheers.